I want to go over next the 3 principal angles for food photography. So this makes up the great majority of the shots that you see in food photography. This setup right now is set up for the angle you're probably most familiar with, which is the overhead shot. So that's basically when the camera is mounted over the table like this. From this position, you want to work backwards to where we come from this angle right here, where the camera is in this position, and we call this either a 3/4 angle or the diner's perspective. Meaning, if I was eating this food, this is the angle in which I would look at it. The third angle would be down here at table level, which then brings the background all into our frame. So what is it about this overhead shot that makes it so popular in food photography? A lot of the times food is pretty flat and you can't really see what's happening inside. So one of the best perspectives we can get is to mount ourselves over the table and look straight down into those bowls. And this also gives us an opportunity to play with shapes and negative space and a lot of different sort of movement on the table to create compositions that are really pleasing to the eye. So I've created this scene of typical herbs and spices from this region. And what I want to focus on from this overhead shot is the idea that I have these beautiful circles, I have these beautiful lines in the table. I also have light artifacts, which are shadows and light streaks that are coming through my frame because the sun is overhead and there are spots that let the light leak through onto my scene, which really makes for a more complex and interesting image. So I'm going to take out my camera and I'm going to get started with a test shot. I want to kind of just figure out where I want my focal point to be. So right now I'm going to focus on the salt, and you can see the lines, I have to line them up because if I kind of end up a little bit crooked, it's kind of going to throw off the framing that I'm looking for. So those table lines are giving me a really good guideline. So let me start there. Now that I have my test shot, what I'm noticing is that I really want to warm this image up. So the way I'm going to do that is to go to the photographic styles. It's going to bring up these panels that I could swipe through to find the right photographic style that I'm looking for. So I'm going to go to the rich contrast panel. And then what I want to do is I have the opportunity here with the slider at the bottom to go up and warm up this frame. So as I do it, I'm going to warm it up all the way to 100% and then back it down until I feel really comfortable. And I think at about 80, I'm looking really good here. I have my rich, warm reds. The greens are popping really nicely, but my whites are still clean, and I love this frame. So let me get out of this by tapping this menu again, and then rotating to a horizontal image and going back to the test frame that we set up. I'm going to lock my autofocus, auto exposure, and then I have the sun icon, which then I'm going to bring down slightly to bring the exposure down a little bit more. It's kind of enhancing my shadows, and I really like what I have here. I'm making sure that my lines are good, my camera is steady, and I take the picture. So I'm really happy with that image, because what it feels like to me is that we brought the spices from this region and the light from this region and made a really, really great photo. The next angle I want to talk to you about is called the diner's perspective, or the 3/4 angle. So that means that if I were sitting in front of this food, this is the angle which I am most familiar with having as an eater or a diner or somebody who's going to interact with this food in a most natural way. So the idea here is that we're kind of bringing our subject to our viewer. So basically we're trying to relate to them in a way that makes them feel comfortable and familiar. And what you want to do with your images is allow your viewer to participate with the food, not just be an observer. So let's get started with this plate. And we're going to photograph it from the diner's perspective. But before we do that, I want to employ some of the techniques that we talked about in the styling section. So I have some of the tools here. So right now I'm going to use this one, which is this eyedropper. And I'm going to take some of the liquid that's pooling at the bottom of this plate of calamari, which is beautiful, by the way. And I'm gonna try to moisten the top of the foods. This is a really important thing to do, to address the food before you start taking pictures. And then there's one other thing I wanna do. Now you can see that we have an awful lot of parsley on this plate, but we don't have any parsley anywhere else. I think it's a really natural look when you sprinkle parsley freshly and it kind of ends up on the tabletop, or it ends up sort of on different parts of the plate. So it's also gonna add the freshest greens we have to the composition. So I have some parsley here. I'm gonna put it in my hand, and then I'm just gonna gently kind of go around. But as you can tell, I'm not really being careful about where it's going. I wanna be a little bit messy. I wanna see that there's real people interacting with this food. And now we're ready to take a picture. So I'm super excited about this. I love the frame we've made, and I'm gonna try to make a picture here in the 3/4 angle. And I'm still in the photographic style rich warm, which I feel like really captures the light that we have around us. So let's get started. So I'm gonna drop down here into this 3/4 angle and make the shot. I've made the shot from in the horizontal frame. I'm also gonna make the shot in the vertical frame. The next angle that I want to talk to you about is one that's really special for me. It is the table level angle. And this is when I'm all the way down at the bottom with the camera resting right on the table. This is an important angle because it's something that we don't always see as diners. It's an interesting and unique perspective for food. Why it's special for me and why I think that maybe psychologically I'm attracted to this is because from this perspective, with my chin on the countertop, looking over at my grandmother's arancini, which is exactly what this is, that's sort of what it was like as a child for me. It connects me to my feelings and emotions as it applies to food. What I want to do first is address my frame. So I know that I'm going to be down here at table level, and I'm going to be picking up the entire background that's behind this table, which happens to be the landscape that goes down to the sea, which is really, really beautiful. But what I want to do first is address what's right here in front of me on the plate. So a key concept in food photography is you start with the whole before you move to the part, which means I want to cut one of those, but I'm not going to do it until I actually take the shot of the entire thing. The other thing I would love to do here is decorate this plate a little bit more. So what I've done is I crushed up some salt so that I can do a little bit of a sprinkle over the plate and break up some of this black. Now, even if it's just for decoration or if I'm going to use it while I'm eating, it actually adds visual value to what we're doing. I've noticed something here, and I think it's going to work to our advantage. The sky now is a little bit more balanced because I have the light coming through the top and giving me more light on my food. So now I have a more balanced approach. So if I just kind of frame a little bit down, I have the blue from the sea, the green from the grass, and the brown from the arancini are all working together in a good exposure. I'm gonna go to the vertical now. So if I adjust this slightly into the light, pull it back towards me, you can see that I'm now playing with the light that's coming through the top of my canopy, and it's giving me the opportunity to put better light on my subject. And I feel like I have just enough exposure on everything, but I have my magic white card here. So I'm going to have an opportunity to slide this in and run the camera right next to it so that maybe I can kind of give my arancini a little bit of a better chance of having a great exposure with that sky and the sea. So here I am. I feel really good about that shot. So now I feel safe enough to cut that second arancini and go for our second shot. Now I'm in a position to make that final shot, and I'm really feeling good about it. I'm a little bit more overcast now than I was earlier for the last shot. So what I want to do now is I want to try to frame as best I can the sky and the ocean out of my shot. So I'm in this vertical shot, and I'm focusing on the arancini that's in the front right side of my frame. I'm gonna lock my exposure and take my shot. And as you can see, the soft focus on the back part, the arancini that we cut open, it makes for a really nice dramatic photo where my subject in the front is clean and crisp and really well focused from the cut arancini into our background. So I feel like that last shot, we have really done the iconic food of Sicily a real service. And in the process, what it's done is brought me back to my grandmother's kitchen. This video is a free preview of the iPhone Food Photography online course. In this course, you'll discover everything you need to know to start your new adventure as a food photographer. We will go over the foundations of food photography and how to use them in a variety of applications, from advertising to stock photography. We will meet incredible people, and with them, we'll explore Sicilian food, traditions, and much, much more. If you'd like to learn more about food photography, please take a look at the full version of iPhone Food Photography. You'll find the link in the description right next to this video. So join the movement by clicking on that link right now, and I'll see you inside the full version of the course.